and pulled me out of the fire. I'm a survivor.
So sorry I don't look that good today. Pretty exhausted. Had, you know, big days and some stressful events going on. We had that access issue, which we had already been there for like 4 hours, so it wasn't like going into the building or we just got there or something like that. But we had already been there for a really long time. You know, Colt's very professional, does his job perfectly, and there was no issues. There was a fake service dog shortly before this issue, and I asked if it was connected, and she said no. So, I mean, it very well could have been connected, but that was the only real issue that happened, was the fake service dog, and that was dealt with immediately, which was very refreshing. But yeah, the manager, we were just playing air hockey, and Colt was laying in front of me, his head down, not even paying attention to anything that was going on. And she walked up and says, "Is that a service dog?" And I just said yes, and then I went back to what I was doing, because I'm so used to, you know, sometimes people asking just out of curiosity. I didn't necessarily notice it was a manager. And then also the fact is that, like, most of the time we don't have any issues because he's very self-explanatory. Like, you see his gear, you see him, you know he's very well behaved, he's doing his job, and there's nothing to worry about. And then a lot of the times, not that my disability isn't invisible, but a lot of the times it's not, because I have crutches or a brace on my leg or a wheelchair or oxygen or something, and a lot of people see that and then they leave me alone. For the most part, they see the dog's behaved. And so I just kind of didn't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden she kind of got back in my face and was like, "Do you have an ID?" And I was like, "Oh, you're not allowed to ask for that. IDs are fake. You can get them online for 10-15 bucks, and it doesn't make a dog a service dog." And she was like, "Well, do you have any proof?" And I was like, "I don't need proof. You can only ask me 2 questions. Is that a service dog, and what does it do for my disability?" And she said, "I know the laws. I read the laws." And I said, "Well, I can pull them up for you, because you're wrong, that you're not allowed to ask for what you are. That's against the law." And she said, "Well, I've read the laws, and I can read them again," but like, she was totally against me helping educate her. Like, she was not having it, and she was definitely like kind of like an authority trip, you know? I don't know. But apparently she was just walking by and just felt the need to come ask me or something, and like do her managerly duties or something. Like, she felt like that was part of it, kind of harassing me. But she was very rude, very disrespectful, and that's when I started recording, because I knew, like, it was going nowhere. Like, there was no educating and no helping this woman, like, realize that she was doing the wrong thing, and that, like, I show Colt in the video, he's just laying there, like, doing nothing. And she was very rude. You can hear her say that he's not vested, so I can ask. And I said, "Ma'am, he is vested." And she's like, "Well, I didn't see that, I'm sorry." So he was in a mobility vest, had a badge hanging on one side, clearly stating that he's a working dog, not to pet him. And, I mean, it is kind of like a darker place, but his vest is like a darker leather, so it is hard to see, but it wasn't, like, impossible. You could see it in the video, clear as day, that he's sitting there vested and working and not doing anything. And so it was just kind of like she felt that she needed to have like an authority trip, and that she just didn't want to hear it. So I asked to talk to the GM, and she made an excuse that he was in a meeting. And that's when I knew, like, there was no getting anywhere with her. So I actually left her to ask someone who was there during the fake service dog to call the GM for me. So that's where the end of the video cuts off, but then I will put in the conversation with the GM as well. I'm willing to educate and help, and He even says that he's probably going to call me back to help with training. But it was very nice to be able to get that figured out with him. He did say that he was going to reprimand her and do some more training for his staff, so that's good. I'll be uploading the 2 videos, one today, one tomorrow, and you can check those out. And I will be posting screenshots of the laws just so that you can see that I was well within my rights and that she was breaking the law.
Well, without a vest you can, because there's nothing that shows that he's not a service dog.
I can show you the laws, but you cannot ask for any type of ID or anything. You can ask, is it a service dog? And what does that dog do for your disability? That's all you can ask.
Okay.
So I can pull the laws for you if you want to see.
Yep, I've read them.
Okay, then you know that it's illegal for you to ask me for an ID.
I'll read it again.
Okay,
Because if a dog doesn't have a vest on stating that it's a service
he
dog.
actually does, and it does say working dog do not pet on the other side.
Okay, and I can't see that, ma'am.
Okay, but that doesn't matter because you can't ask for any type of ID.
I'll check with that gentleman. That's
Okay,
always
I
been
would
our
actually
policy.
like to talk to the manager then.
Okay, he's in a meeting right now.
Okay, well, he should be available for something like this because this is not okay. It's illegal.
Okay, well, I apologize since I don't see anything on
Okay,
the dog.
he just had a fake service dog trying to attack him. I have it on video.
Yeah,
So if
why?
I had a fake service dog just now try to attack him. I have it on video. So if that's why you're over here.
Absolutely not. I didn't know anything about
Because
that.
I've been here for almost 3 hours and nobody has come up and bothered us, and they shouldn't have to because he's completely well behaved, not bothering anybody, and he is clearly marked as a service dog.
Hello. How you doing?
So I just had that manager come up to me and say, I need an ID for your dog. And I said, I don't have an ID. Those are actually fake because you can get those online for like $20 or $20. It doesn't even matter. So those are fake.
Okay.
I told her that. She said, well, I need some kind of proof for that dog. And I said, because he's not vested. And I said, he actually is vested, but it doesn't matter even if he wasn't. Because I need that for mobility. But there's times where it's too hot and don't have a vest on him. It doesn't matter. You cannot ask for any type of proof. And I told her by law, you cannot ask for that. She said, I read the laws. And I said, well, I can show you right where it says you can't ask for that. And then this is lawsuit worthy. You can't ask for it. And so she got heated with me saying that she knows the laws, that she'll read them again. She says it's your policy and all this kind of stuff. And got frustrated with me and then said that you were in a meeting and that you were not available and I couldn't talk to you. And right before that, she witnessed an issue with a fake service dog trying to come after him.
How much did this stem from? I think that's what this stemmed from because I saw that happen and I thought,
So I don't know if the other person came up to her or if she heard it from somebody or what, but she came up to me right after that happened. I do have a video of the other dog trying to come after him because every time I see a dog, I don't take chances now. He's been big, he has a scar on his face from other fake service dogs trying to get him out. This dog is really marked as a service dog. He doesn't care all over his face. He's not a service dog. So I videoed it. I videoed her conversation with me. I don't know how much you can hear right now in this place, but that's not okay at all. And I can show you the laws if you need me to.
Well, Trisha just came and told me, and I just looked up a few things, and you're exactly correct. And so I think
And if he's not vested, you cannot ask that. And I let her know that you can ask, is it a service dog? And what task does it do for your disability? You can't ask what disability or anything like that. But he is a service dog, so yes, and he helps with mobility and seizure alert. So that's all I would have had to say if she asked the proper questions. But she actually caused something that could be lawsuit worthy by doing that. So I think that you should take appropriate measures with that.
I got some appropriate, Liz.
Yeah.